Guys, this is Your Source, and I wanted to do another brief video for these three boards, and I wanted to talk about the motors and the throttle response that you get from using the remotes, because a lot of people wonder, you know, how responsive is a remote as far as acceleration and braking curves go. And hopefully having these boards lined up side by side will kind of give you a little bit better idea of what to expect if you were to purchase these boards. Now, taking a look at the remotes, they are all very, very similar. The Kali is a little bit larger, but they all have the same basic design with the thumb throttle and pullback for brake. They all have different modes. The Verreal and the Riptide remotes, I mean, they are basically exactly the same. The only difference is Verreal labels what all the buttons do, which I kind of like, and Riptide tells you that it's a Riptide's remote, so you definitely know it belongs to that board. These have three modes, low, medium, and high, and the Kali only has two modes, incredibly fast and insanely fast. So, I mean, it's just absurd what this board can do, especially in comparison to these other boards that aren't exactly slow. This thing is an absolute monster. So let's start off with the two boards that are the most alike. And I just want to show you when these are both on low, you can see the throttle response from feathering it to pegging it. So let's feather that Riptide. See, it's very slow. Okay. Now we're just going to peg it and see how it responds. So you could see that it didn't really, have too much of a kick off the line, even though you pegged it. Same is true with the Verreal. So just feathering it. Very slow. If you peg it, still going to have a very slow startup. And both the Riptide and the Verreal will not get all the way up to their top speed in the lowest mode. So that's that. Now going into the medium mode, make sure they're both in it. There we go. The Riptide, feathering it. Okay, now if I peg it, okay, and then with the Verreal, just feathering. Pegging it. So as you can see, they're not going to get to their top speed in this mode as well, but they do go pretty quick. I don't think they get up to their top speed though. This mode is actually more useful than I thought it would be. I find it useful if I'm in a congested area and I want to have some more power. The low setting, I never ride on. The only real use for that to me is if I have someone with me who's never ridden before and they want to test out the board and they want to take it really easy. I'll never use it. But the medium mode is good in a congested area if I just don't want to think about too much of not gunning it, because it's not going to take off on me too fast. Now into the high modes, you can see the Riptide, so it responds much quicker now from just the feather, and then pegging it. See, it has the ability to get up to speed pretty quick, and the same is true with the Verreal. So feathering, you can tell a difference already if you remember from the last bit, and then pegging it. It gets up to speed fairly quickly as well. Okay, so both boards decent, in their own right. However, I did want to show you now the Kali board and what it's capable of, okay? Now you can just see, I mean, these motors, they're massive compared to, say, another belt drive board like the Riptide. Just see them beside it there. It is much larger, so obviously it's going to be so much more powerful. And just showing you what this thing can do. Okay, so I'm just going to feather. I'm going to hold it down too. I'm just going to feather it, and it is on the lowest mode right now. So already, and I just want to show you. Okay, the Riptide, it's all the way fast. Feathering it, Kali. I mean, you're already going faster than Riptide. if I were to do something like peg the Riptide, Kali, see how fast that they can get up to speed in comparison to one another? I mean, the Kali has so much torque and power on command immediately. And what's really cool, though, is I love getting to ride with it and just keeping that thumb there. And, I mean, you can just cruise and really get some nice power. Love the way that sounds. Sounds almost like a turbo on a car. It's really cool. And like I said, if you really want to hit it... Now, obviously, when it's under load and you're standing on it with all these boards, it's going to be different. But looking at this in that just absurdly fast mode, same deal. It's got a very similar feel to it, to where if you just barely touch it, it's going to definitely put out some serious power. And if you peg it, I mean, it gets to top speed like that, you know. Now, obviously, when you're standing on it, it doesn't get to top speed, you know, in less than a second, way less than a second even. But it does accelerate very, very quickly, and you have to really be prepared if you're going to do that. But it makes it a ton of fun, and it makes it a beast for not only climbing hills, but just riding and cruising. I would say that the Kali, with its motor and the power that it puts out, it's pretty amazing, because it's kind of like driving a car. Whereas, you know, these boards, you're probably going to top them out, and, you know, depending on your riding level, experience, and how comfortable you are on them, that may be enough for you. But you're probably going to top them out quite a bit once you get comfortable on them, which won't take too long. With this board, you know, you're usually in situations where, you know, it's got more to give. You're cruising along and you could punch it and go even faster, because you likely would not ride this at top speed for long periods of time, just brief little stints, because it's so fast, so powerful. You just have to be really careful. You have to respect what this board can do and how powerful it is. So if you get one of these, you'll have a great time on it, but please be safe. Please respect what it can do. And I did talk about a little bit of how if you let off the gas from pushing the board, it will, you know, cut the power to the motors, and you will get a little bit of like a jolt forward because you're going so fast, and then you let go. So you kind of want to ease off of the throttle when you're using this board as well. But, you know, it's not that hard to do once you get used to it, and it's a super fun board to ride. It's totally awesome. If you've got the cash for it, you want something that's really powerful, I think you'll really enjoy it. Once again, all these boards are very enjoyable in their own right, but I just wanted to show you guys a little bit of the difference of how the motors work when you're using the controller. And I hope that this video was helpful, that you liked it. If so, please give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if there's anything else you want to see done with these boards, or if you have any questions. All right, thanks guys. Have a great day, and ride safe.